Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to Our Issues Birmingham. Today's guest is Rachel Morgan, the creative director of the Birmingham Sidewalk Film Festival, which is quite to do in the city of Birmingham.
Thank you.
And thanks for being here.
Of course.
And not just the city of Birmingham. I think we've got ourselves a national reputation, if not worldwide, with respect to what we do here.
Agreed.
Right here in the little city of Birmingham, Alabama.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I am the creative director for the Sidewalk Film Festival, as you mentioned, and of course we're opening a movie theater soon as well, and I will be creative director for the Sidewalk Cinema as well.
That's what it's called?
Yes.
And that's at the Pizitz building?
It's in the basement of the Pizitz. And it is actually the Sidewalk Film Center and Cinema. But I think you can just say Sidewalk Cinema. We'll be good.
Okay, yeah, I think so. And we'll be showing movies there.
We'll be showing a lot of movies there.
Independents.
Yeah, we'll be showing independent films, but we'll be showing films, 362 days a year. So, I mean, we're doing a lot of screening. It'll run just like a regular movie theater. We're only going to be closed a few days a year.
Will you be showing movies at night?
Absolutely. We'll be showing films the same exact way that you would go to the multiplex to see them. So multiple screenings every day.
Popcorn and everything?
The whole deal. Actually, we have a full bar.
Oh, yeah.
So you can enjoy an adult beverage in addition to popcorn.
Oh, good.
But, we'll be screening independent films, but we'll also be screening retrospective films. So we'll be doing a little bit of everything. So films that, have all kinds of different screening series that revolve around directors or particular movements in film or particular decades, genres, so on and so forth. And then, of course, our first run independent films as well.
Well, we don't have what we had back in the old days.
Not even close.
Which would be called a newspaper, where you open it and there's all the movies. So how do you get the word out, or how does the consumer find out what's showing today at the Pizitz?
Well, like so many things, and of course our doors aren't quite open yet, but they will be soon. But like so many things, there'll be multiple ways. So of course the internet, you can visit sidewalkfest.com. But we're going to do like an old school calendar too.
Okay.
We're programming on a calendar model so that every day looks a little different. We might have a first run film that runs for a week, just like the multiplex. But then every day we'll have a different film. And
so you
some
have
days,
2 screens.
Yes, we do have two screens, which is great. That allows for this flexibility. So we'll also have like a calendar, and that calendar will be virtual, be online, but you can also take one home and hopefully put it on your fridge if you're, I like that, if that's your style.
That's my style.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everybody's style. If you go in anybody's house and look at their fridge, you can't find the handle.
That's true.
I don't want to get away from what you're here about primarily, but I know a lot of people are delighted that we will have a theater like the one that y'all are putting together, because up until now, I think Talladega has a theater, but I don't think they do much there. But Montgomery, I think it's called the Capri, has been a theater. In Nashville, there's is it called
the Belcourt?
Belcourt, yeah. Well, I assume it would have that kind of programming, for lack of a better word, or similar to the Belcourt.
Very similar, very similar. I mean, of course, we're going to do things our own way, but very similar.
Yeah. So we got away from this, but I want to go back to it. How'd you get here? Are you from here?
I am originally from Birmingham. I grew up in Forest Park, many, many years ago. I'll leave it at that.
Before it was fashionable?
Before it was fashionable, yes, yes, definitely. I don't know, it was still pretty cool, but maybe not exactly the same as it is today.
Yeah, prices were a little different.
Prices were a little different. My parents would attest to that, yeah. And so I grew up here. I went off to school. I went to Savannah College of Art and Design for my undergrad, and then I worked in New York for a little bit, and Boston for a little bit, and a lot of other places, and was gone for many, many years for film school, and then after I worked in advertising for a long time. And then I left New York City and came back to the University of Alabama to get my master's degree in film critical studies, and just kind of, started working with Sidewalk and started teaching and stayed.
Well, Sidewalk has been in existence for how long now?
This is 21.
Wow.
21 years.
And it hasn't always been what it is now. So it started like baby, it has to crawl before it can walk, and now it's running.
Right.
The way I would see it, especially with the opening of the Lyric Theater, that had to be a big shot in the arm.
Sure.
and you have the Alabama Theater. You have a screen over at the School of Fine Arts.
Yeah, we actually have 5 screens at the School of Fine Arts.
Okay. So an individual, you get movies. I call them movies. You probably call them films.
I call them both.
Does it matter?
It doesn't.
Am
Some
I
people
uncool?
get very.
Am I uncool if I use movie?
I like movies. I think it sounds neat.
Okay.
It's a very sort of, I think it's an old-fashioned way of saying it sometimes. But some people look at it like, oh, we'll call it movies because,
But it's real artsy to call it film.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I like both.
Okay. So you get, how does the process work if I am a filmmaker and I have a nephew who's been in the show twice, actually.
Cool.
Who's been in the festival twice.
Right.
He lives on the West Coast. To even get your film screened in Birmingham, to me, is quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Is it an accurate statement?
I think that's very accurate.
Whether you get an award or not, just to be here is...
To get into the festival is very difficult. We have a lot of people trying to
explain that if you can.
Sure. So we have, we do a call for entries, and it is a competition. The festival is a competition. People win awards and they win prize money. And so we have about 2,000 films submitted to us through a general call for entries. And those films, of course, include short films, feature films, documentaries, narratives, in music videos even.
Is there a limitation on the length of what's submitted?
Sure. Up to 45 minutes is considered to be a short. Even though we love very short shorts, we love 5-minute shorts. But anything under 45 minutes will be considered a short, and anything above 45 minutes will be considered a feature.
Okay. 45 minutes is the cut number.
That's the cutoff. I mean, most are going to come in at 100 minutes. That's the average sort of run time.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do this call for entries. We get about 2,000 films, but we also shop for films as well. So in other words, we go to other film festivals. We have people who are more established in the industry who might solicit us. We reach out to alumni filmmakers. We reach out to filmmakers who have a film everybody's talking about. If they haven't submitted through the organic process, we'll go shopping for films as well. And so we do all that, and then we sort of sift through it all and land on about 75 feature films and about 250 short films that we'll screen over the course of the festival.
And that's the number of films that actually make it to the show?
That's right. There's about, it depends on the runtime, right? But
yeah,
about 75 feature films and about a little under 250 short films that will actually be programmed.
I want to talk about that process of screening when we come back from break, okay?
Good thing.
Stay with me. This is Our Issues Birmingham. We're talking about the Sidewalk Film Festival with Rachel Morgan, the creative director. Do not go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Our Issues Birmingham. We're talking about the Sidewalk Film Festival, which is coming up in Birmingham. The dates will be scrolling underneath us as we speak here. Please make arrangements to try to get there. So when you start getting all these films that are coming in,
yes,
what happens? Not one person is sitting there with a cup of coffee and a bag of popcorn.
I mean, I'm sitting there with a cup of coffee and a bag. I'm sitting there with a giant, huge carafe of coffee. No, we have screening committees. So we have folks who volunteer, and we have a little bit of a process there, an application process to be able to be a screener. But we have people who volunteer, and we start, believe it or not, we start in November. We put a call for entries out. We start looking
almost a year in advance.
It's kind of crazy. Now, we pretty much launch our screeners in January, but we put the call for entries out in November. So my team, and I have a team
November following the August
That's right.
of the previous year.
That's right. So the festival ends, we take a couple of days off, kind of, get a little bit of sleep, and then we start talking about how to make the festival better, and we put our call for entries out in November. And then in January, we have our volunteers come in and start helping us sift through what will end up being about 2,000 films that will be submitted to us.
And from that 2,000, you said we work our way down to 75 plus, how many?
250 shorts, about, depending on runtime and where everything lands. But yeah, I mean, right now I'm watching all the time. I mean, I literally went to bed around 3 o'clock in the morning watching a film, and I'm up again doing
What are you watching it on? An iPad
last night
or
I was watching
computer?
it on a laptop.
Yeah, on a laptop or something. And is there a committee? If you see something that you think has some merit, do you like go, hey, take a look at this, tell me what you think?
Kind
Or
of
do you just make the executive decision?
a little bit of both. Our screening committee sort of helps us sift through things, and so we try to get at least 3 eyes on every film that's submitted. And there's a rating system, and we will do what we call graveyard. So if 3 people see it and give it, let's just just to be productive, the thumbs down, then we'll reject that film. If multiple people sort of feel sort of so-so about it, that means that myself and/or my programming team, which is a team of 3 other folks, have to watch that film.
All volunteer folks, except for you, I assume.
Well, my 3 programmers, which is Corey, Kyle, and Charlie, they're my features programmers, and they do get a stipend. So
Yeah.
they're contract employees, so they get paid a little bit. But the committee is volunteer.
And they have other things they do.
Yeah, we all have other things we
We
do.
all have
actually.
real jobs.
Yeah, I consider this a real job,
I
even
do
though
too.
it's some people, it's that thing where people sort of, oh, it must be great to be an ice cream taster. Well, sure, but when you've tasted ice cream for 14 hours straight, you may not think that anymore.
I
And
don't think Bluebell's feeling that these days.
That's true. That is true.
Okay, so now we've narrowed it down. The expense to the individual, the filmmaker, that's their expense to come here and.
No, not necessarily. We aren't able, as a nonprofit, we aren't able to provide transportation for everybody to be here with us in Birmingham, and we can't provide that clearly for local folks. Local folks who are already here, we don't provide any kind of hotel stay or anything like that. But for shorts filmmakers, that's sort of where we draw the line. But for a lot of our features filmmakers, we do provide some form of transportation or lodging. So that we can have a good number of filmmakers here with us, because that's part of the excitement of the festival is not just to see the film, but a lot of the time to see it with somebody who's in the film present, or the director present, or the producer present, who can talk about it.
And especially at the School of Fine Arts, the ones I've seen, there've been a Q&A at the end of the film sometimes, not in every instance, but that's interesting to get the dynamics of that.
It is. It is really it's a special treat to watch a film with people who worked on making that film.
Yeah. I heard an actress talk about this. When you're making a film that looks so continuous when you're the consumer viewing it, it's really a mosaic that's been put together, not necessarily in the order that you're watching it, for that actor or actress to play that part, and for that director to make that scene what he wants it to be, in a little microcosm of space. So somebody has a vision, but it's not necessarily put together in the order that it's going to come out on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually not. Yeah, usually.
I mean, it's fascinating when you think about it.
Yeah, oftentimes we're shooting your last scene first, even. It depends on so many things, but there is, we're the art of filmmaking. I mean, there's the reason why we attach the word magic so often to filmmaking, because it is in a certain sense magic. I mean, it feels continuous. It feels like that all happened in real time, and it doesn't happen at all like that.
Yeah. In terms of funding, how do you support yourself at the film festival?
Well, we have so many sponsors.
Now.
Yes. Now. And a lot of people from the community step up. I mean, Regions Bank has been a great sponsor to us. Such a long list of sponsors, really. I hate to start down that list because I don't want to leave anybody out. But
yeah.
And of course, we sell tickets and we sell passes. And so when people come to the festival and buy a pass, that helps us to continue to exist.
Well, and it generates revenue for the city.
Absolutely.
Their taxes attached to the purchase of a ticket. There's lodging taxes attached to the staying in the hotel room.
We fill up hotels. We fill up restaurants. We have an over $1 million impact on the city.
That's what I was going to ask, if you had some idea what the economic impact on the city was.
As the creative director, I'm not the best person to speak about that, but I think the last time I heard, we do like a $1.2 million impact on the city of Birmingham.
And it starts on a Wednesday or Thursday?
Actually, this year we're starting on a Monday, but we're starting sort of very slow. We have a screening every night starting on the 19th of August. and going through to that Sunday the 25th. And so there'll be a screening every night that week, but then Friday nights are really our big opening night where we have a big party and a big film will screen.
Okay, we'll come back and talk some more about funding when we take our break. All
Sure.
right? Don't leave me.
I'm not going anywhere.
I need you. This is Our Issues Birmingham. I'm Tommy Spina talking with Rachel Morgan, Sidewalk Film Festival. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Our Issues Birmingham, talking about the Sidewalk Film Festival. So it's about to be here, and people get excited, and it becomes somewhat of a party atmosphere, and it's unbelievable to me the volume of people that are walking around downtown, five
Right.
abreast, on the sidewalk. I do have one beef.
Okay, let's hear it. I love
We've
notes.
got to keep the coffee houses, the Pizitz Bar, the Pizitz Mall open.
Yes.
So when I come out of that film, I can go get something to eat or snack or drink, because the last time I went, I couldn't find anywhere to go.
When was that?
It's been not this past year, but the one before.
Well, I think, that's been a complaint, and that's why we've gotten food trucks down there. And
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so we do. At ASPO, there's going to be food trucks. We've asked folks at the Pizitz to stay open, and Revelator's been really great because I need coffee all the time.
So tell me about the party.
So there's a lot of parties during the weekend,
Yeah.
and opening night's a big party. Really, we have a big party after the film that we close down the street in front of Alabama. We did not do that last year, but we're back to doing it this year. Saturday night, we have a huge party Saturday night. Then we have a big award show on Sunday night, and then we have parties sort of scattered throughout the weekend too. So it's not just about watching films. That's certainly I think the most important part, right? But it's also about just having a good time, enjoying Birmingham, enjoying being in
It's a festival.
Yeah, and having all these folks from out of town here to celebrate. And so it's really we're kind of known for our parties.
Well, that'll get them out.
Yeah.
But it ramps up.
It does ramp up.
So it kind of eases from Monday,
Right.
and by Thursday, the excitement is building, and by Friday, and then the street festival, and then the awards, and then it peaks, and
That's
then
right.
and then we take a week or two off and do it again.
Well, a few days, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's so. If someone who is a film buff wants to help,
Yeah.
what would they do?
Well, didn't you say that if I point down, will that reflect the scroll?
It will now.
Okay. If I point down. So sidewalkfest.com.
Right, Tolly?
Sidewalkfest.com is scrolling below me. So you can go there and we have volunteer slots still open. And so you can volunteer if you want to
To
do
what?
that.
Like be an usher? Or?
Be any number of things. Yeah, we need help in box office. We need help at parties. We need help in venues. And then you can email me if you want to be a screening committee member. We ask that people have had some sort of at least arts education, even if it's just a film history class or a art history class. And I'm Rachel at sidewalkfest.com. But you can find my picture on the website and hopefully associate it. I age rapidly every day, but hopefully you can still see the.
You can use, these are scars, not wrinkles. That's what I have.
Same here. I mentioned I've been up all night.
That's
so.
life. Well, you're doing great.
Thank
so
you.
Don't stop. So they can go there and donate by way of credit card or.
Oh, believe me, we've got a big donation button on the site, and
Yeah.
you can actually choose whether you want to donate to the cinema or to the festival, and we will figure out a good way for you to make use of your money.
I know you're offering some seats at the
we
cinema.
just wrapped that up.
It's over?
It's over. We just sold the name on the seat, but there are some opportunities to put names elsewhere in the cinema, and we're trying to figure that out.
That's fantastic.
I think so too.
I slept that one because I wanted to do that.
Well, we'll get your name somewhere, maybe on a bathroom stall door.
Thank you.
Over the soda fountain. We'll figure it out. If somebody wants their name in the cinema, we will figure it out.
You could do what some do. They sell bricks.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do the stars, like
on the Walk of Fame.
the Chinese. Well, there is a Walk of Fame
Yeah,
in
there
front
is.
of the Alabama Theater.
Yeah, and that's sort of a very special thing, I think, for folks who
Really going.
Yeah. And
Fanny
so-
flag type stuff.
Exactly, and she is there. But we have opportunities. The seats are gone, but we do have opportunities to put your name somewhere, recognition somewhere in the cinema.
Okay. So opening night's coming up.
Opening night this year is on Friday, August 23rd.
We have local artists,
You know,
filmmakers that are
opening
going
night
to.
is one film usually, and and this is a great one. It's called "I Want My MTV," and of course Alan Hunter is featured in it. But it is a big national film that premiered at the Trifecta Film Festival. It's going to be a lot of fun, and so that's it's a documentary. And so we'll screen that, and I believe the director will be here, and Alan will be here, and maybe some other surprise folks from the film. And that's a big celebration. We'll screen that film and have a big party afterwards, and get off and running with the festival.
Aren't there some films that were actually filmed in Birmingham?
Yeah, we have a couple of local films too that are in the lineup that will be happening over the course of Sidewalk Weekend, and one is called Sword of Trust, directed by Lynn Shelton, and it's really all shot in the Birmingham area. It's really, really wonderful. Even has some local folks in it. And Lynn Shelton is a huge director who does national work, international work really, and she's just a great filmmaker. And but she shot a film here. And then The Death of Dick Long, which is a film directed by Daniel Scheinert, who's from Alabama, now lives in LA. But it's an A24 film, and so it's a really, really big film, and it was shot here as well.
What does that mean, A24?
A24 is a distributor, so they're responsible for Moonlight. They won an Academy Award a couple of years ago.
Well, there you have it, folks. This is the real deal. We're getting up there with Sundance, I think.
Oh boy, Sundance is like you can't, it's untouchable. But I like to think so. I like to think we're pretty great. I mean, I will say this: our programming reflects a lot of stuff you could see at Sundance, and you don't have to spend as much money or go as far.
Well, I'm proud of what y'all have done.
Thank you.
And I know many people are.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being with us. This is Our Issues Birmingham. Please don't miss this festival, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for being with us.